Got this doll from Peeta Malark himself. Your boy toy. Got your 127-page love letter. I don't know if I should be scared or flattered. Hi guys, so today is gonna be Book Review Friday. So by the cover of this video, you're probably realizing, okay, it's a thumbs down, it's probably not gonna be any good. It's not. It was not a very good book. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it, however, because not every book review is going to be a great book review. I do want to share books that I do read that I just think are a no-go whatsoever. So that's what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna review The Pumpkin Muffin Murder. If you watch my channel and you watch all of my videos, then you may recognize this because I've hauled this a really long time ago, like months and months back, from the Dollar Tree. So yes, this book was from the Dollar Tree. It was $1, and it does say $14 here, US. And in my opinion, $14 for this book, for this kind of paperback, that's a lot in my opinion, because really good books, really popular books, go anywhere between $14 and $20. So I'm really surprised by that original price, and in my opinion, I'm not surprised that it's the reason why it was at the Dollar Tree. Typically, my favorite kind of books to read are like historical romances and then futuristic like fantasy, things like Twilight, Hunger Games, things like that. I do love the young adult section at the bookstore. They just have the best plot lines, the best characters, and they're so fun to read. And that's another part of me that I want to talk about in my little book review, because it feels like we have like this club going, everybody kind of comments and talks, and it's really fun. So I don't like anything that is overly serious and scary. But I do love murder mysteries, but fun, light murder mysteries, the kind that come on the Hallmark Channel. Actually, the Hallmark Channel has a second channel called Movies and Mysteries, and they play some of my favorite murder mysteries that include Aurora Teagarden and any of the like food-related murder mysteries. I forget who that author is, but I've read some of her books, and they're pretty decent. So when I had seen this book at the Dollar Tree, I was like, oh, The Pumpkin Muffin Murder. That sounds really light and airy. It's not going to be too scary or anything like that, because how scary could a pumpkin muffin murder be? So I was instantly intrigued, and when I read the back, it sounded kind of fun, but I just overall didn't like it. And as horrible as this is going to sound, I should probably read the entire book before I make my judgment, but I got as far as page 80 before I called it quits. And let me tell you, that is actually surprising, because it was really difficult to even get to 80 pages. And I was like, okay, just keep going, keep trying. It was not good. And here's why. So I feel like this book was written more towards a much older audience. I'm thinking 60s, 70s, 80s maybe. And it would have been great because, hello, I'm basically that age in my soul because I watch Golden Girls and that's my show and I absolutely love it. And I also love The Intern, which is a movie which is also about somebody like in their 70s. And so I really do love stuff like that. But this book just was not good at all. It was like stomach churning trying to get through these pages. It was just written in a way that was just not a fun book to read. Things like where she would describe, oh, so she got up and she took the pickle jar, she went and she put it in the cabinet, then she closed the cabinet, and then she turned around to look at, this, and then realized, oh, I need to put this in the cabinet too. And it's things that serve no purpose. There wasn't anything about her going to the cabinet and putting stuff up that served a purpose in the storyline. It's just too much information. That is not good information. And it was like, the whole book is packed like that. It's very laid back, and how she gets through almost a 300-page book I don't even understand that, to be honest. Like, who can read that kind of... I'm at a loss for words. I'm struggling to find the words to tell you how awful this is. I will say, one of the first chapters, they were talking about, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and tell you what this is about. So this is about a woman who I think is like somewhere in her 60s. And it does actually remind me very much of Golden Girls, ironically, and yet I still didn't like this book. And it wasn't because of the characters. The characters sounded great. It was the way that this author, Livia J. Washburn, wrote it. Just, it's like those little pieces of paragraphs and things that just was like, oh my God, this doesn't mean anything. It's not important. Describe it in a different way. But it is very much like Golden Girls. There's two other ladies that live with her. They're retired teachers. There's two other women that live with her. And the way she actually describes each one of them, they sound like Dorothy, Blanche, and Rose. So it's kind of funny. But there's also a man that lives with them as well. His name is Sam, and he seems to really, like, I think he's in a relationship with Phyllis, and she would be, I guess, the Dorothy of Golden Girls, in my opinion. Ultimately, there's going to be this festival. They have this festival. It is based in Weatherford, Texas, which I thought was kind of cool. You know, it's my state. But there's this festival, and she always bakes in it. And so basically, they're setting up for this festival, and one of the scarecrow turns out not to be a fake scarecrow, but a dead body. And so it's about finding out who killed this guy and why and that sort of thing. And the pumpkin muffin is what she actually makes for this festival. So that is really it in a nutshell. Now, what I gathered from this book was that there seemed to have been previous books before this. So it says author of Killer Crab Cakes. So maybe Killer Crab Cakes was before the pumpkin muffin murder, because from reading this, it tells me that Phyllis constantly discovers dead bodies. Sounds great. Sounds like a fun book. It does definitely sound like Aurora Teagarden in a lot of ways. But it just ultimately came down to the writing style. It just was not, it didn't draw me in whatsoever. The most interesting thing in this book, which I was like, what? Was when she described how Carolyn went to go help a friend build those scarecrows, and that they had gone to Walmart and Dollar Tree to get the items. And I was like, you went where? That's my joint. I will say something that is really cute about this book is that in the back, the author actually includes recipes. So really cute. She actually did include the pumpkin cheesecake muffins recipe, which is the muffins that she's actually baking for this festival. She also puts in Carolyn's Caesar sandwich. I know you can't see that. It's kind of like the light. But so there's that. They put cran apple breakfast rolls, toasty pecan pie. So that is like super cute, and I really do enjoy that. I honestly wish that I had more things to say about this book and give you guys like a really fun book review today, but this was the only book that I read for this week, and I do want to talk about murder mysteries because they are so fun and I love them. I mostly like to watch them. It's a little bit harder for me to like read in a book for some reason, just because I guess I am a diehard romance kind of girl, and so if there's really not romance, it's just hard to really grab my interest. But I will say that if you do love murder mysteries and you have the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel, you will love some of those movies. Aurora Teagarden, then there's the one with like garage sale mysteries, those are fun too, and then they have like the murder she baked kind of mysteries, so super fun and light, not dramatic, not scary. I will say that I feel like this had so much potential, you know. There were characters in there like other teachers and friends and family that I just think that it could have been a really great little murder mystery book, but just again, the way that she set up the paragraphs, and it was too much for me. So of course, because I didn't go through it, I still had to know who actually killed Logan Powell, which is the person who was like in the scarecrow, but he was dead. So he was like a husband to one of the teachers, not a retired teacher, somebody that was an active teacher. And it was really confusing because he's on the phone, he's talking about killing somebody, and then he's like, oh, I'm just joking, ha ha. And then he turns around and he's like this 30, 40-year-old man who flirts with Phyllis. And then I was just very confused by it all. And but you know, murder mysteries are supposed to be confusing. They're supposed to kind of like lead you away from the end result so that it kind of delivers like this wow factor in the end, but it just wasn't done well that way. And so I, of course, skipped to the end to find out that Jenna was the culprit, and I guess Jenna's another one of the teachers, and I guess Logan wasn't gonna leave his wife for Jenna. I don't know. I'll never know. And I'm fine with that because this is horrible. Another thing that I have to say, because this book was based out of Texas, they gave some of the characters a country twang. Not all of us talk that way. You know, it's like, yes, it's a stereotype, and I get it. There's lots of things that just can be stereotyped. It just is what it is. I'm Italian, you can stereotype me. I like spaghetti, I like pasta. But I feel like anytime anything Texas is related, it's overly stereotyped. Sometimes that bothers me. This may sound crazy to you guys, but I do not actually get on a horse. Okay, you guys, that's my book review for today. I know it wasn't like, oh my God, that's the best book review she's ever done. But this is the book I read this week, and I did pick it up from the Dollar Tree, and now I know why it was at the Dollar Tree. So that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in another video. Bye. Went to the post office today and received this package of Peeta Malark, the doll. And if you watch my book reviews, then you saw me writing my love letter to Peeta Malark because he is essentially somewhat the man of my dreams. And so the man of my dreams apparently sent me this to CheapCraftyGirl from Peeta Malark, your boy toy. Got your 127-page love letter. I want to sweep you off your feet. Age is a number. 4 is a loser. This is more of a mystery than this book, okay? So, I finally figured it out, I think. Because in my letter to him, I wrote that even though I was 34, he was 20 whatever, that age is just a number, and I guess he's agreeing with me. Thank you, Peeta. I'm glad you recognized that. Glad you don't think I'm a cougar. And then he said 4 is a loser. I think that Peeta's referring to 4 from the Divergent series. So someone sounds jelly.